And the paper we're putting out today is saying we should really distinguish between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. So both here at home, if we do have to adjust some of the freedoms because of the rising pressure from new variants, then it's important at least to ensure that those people who are vaccinated have the maximum freedom they can. And I think that could also be done for travel as well.
Is it acceptable to turn down a vaccine, do you think?
Unless you've got a good medical reason, my view very clearly is no. And I think that's why it's important to give people a real incentive to get vaccinated. Because, you know, if you are vaccinated, the evidence is absolutely clear. It reduces the risk of transmission and it reduces the risk of hospitalization or death.
So would you make them mandatory?
I don't think you can make them mandatory, but I think, and this is what we're suggesting today, by making it clear that, for example, if you are vaccinated, if you're double vaccinated, it should be much easier to come in and out of the country. And indeed, round the world, I think you will find that countries start to distinguish between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. So in Europe, for example, they're going to allow you to travel freely within Europe if you're double vaccinated.
The trouble is, this does create, does it not, a two-tier society between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Looking at your own paper says that if you haven't been vaccinated, you won't be able to go to nightclubs and theatres and big sporting events and many other places. So you will be discriminated against.
Yeah, but I think, you know, the word discrimination's got a very loaded meaning in the English language now. But really, when it comes to risk management, it's all about discrimination. So the reason we vaccinate elderly people first is they're more at risk. The reason why we ensure that people are vaccinated is because it then reduces the risk of transmission, not merely of you getting ill yourself, but of you passing on the disease. So I think since everybody's going to be able to get the vaccination, other than those, as I say, who for medical reasons can't, then I think it really is important that people get encouraged to get vaccinated. And we also make suggestions as to how we can make sure you get proper proof of vaccination. I mean, actually, the NHS ex-people have done a good job in the NHS app, but we need to make that interoperable with other systems so that you can use this as proof of vaccination throughout the world.
Say to people there are no decisions that have been made in relation to Iraq at all, but there is no doubt that Iraq poses a threat in respect to weapons of mass destruction, and there is no doubt that this issue is an issue that should be dealt with.
There is no doubt at all the United Nations resolutions that Saddam is in breach of are there for a purpose. He is, without any question, still trying to develop that chemical, biological, potentially nuclear capability, and to allow him to do so without any let or hindrance, just to say we can carry on and do it, I think would be irresponsible. Look, I would never support anything I thought was wrong out of some blind loyalty to the US.
The paper we're putting out today is saying we should really distinguish between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated.
Oi, you sinister orange man. You mean take away our inalienable human rights based on a bad flu equivalent?
If we do have to adjust some of the freedoms because of the rising pressure from new variants.
Adjust some of our freedoms? You mean take away our inalienable human rights? And based on the variants that the science has shown make very little difference in any case? Look at the data. Here's UK. You can see the collapsed deaths per million down to practically zero. This is the scary scariant zone. The last few weeks, UK has gone up to around 60+% off the scary scariants, but nothing has happened. So, with the empirical data de facto proving that the scariants are not a major problem, what on earth are you talking about? And in terms of case fatality rate, here's the scariant zone, but nothing's really happened. And that's what the science has already said.
Then it's important at least to ensure that those people who are vaccinated have the maximum freedom they can. And I think that could also be done for travel as well. I think that's why it's important to give people a real incentive to get vaccinated, because...
Oh, there's incentives going on here, all right, but not what you're saying. You and your institute, right? Who are you connected to? What drives your zeal in this matter? It's not health, that's for sure. I see you got quite a lot of money from the pharma quarter. And so do a lot of other people causing a lot of problems with freedoms. And you're in with the usual suspects, right? Yeah. All together, we're all together in this. And you've been in the papers extensively a while back with the Iraq War as a de facto war criminal. Loads of articles and everyone knows about this. The deceit. Even a movie was made about it. Very popular, but sometimes censored, I believe. So someone like you should never be let within 1 billion miles of public health, and certainly nowhere near our inalienable freedoms and rights. Let's finish with one last clip from this sinister, sinister man.
People have got to understand vaccination is going to be, in the end, your route to liberty. To liberty. To liberty. To liberty. To liberty. To liberty. For all of this, I express more sorrow, regret, and apology than you may ever know or can believe.